younger, I lived in an apartment complex. And most of all my friends lived in houses. So I always wondered, what were their parents doing different that my mother wasn't doing, that they could live in houses and we lived in an apartment? So on the weekends, when I would go spend the night with my friends in their houses, my first stop, I would always go chit-chat, sit to the kitchen table and talk to their parents. Hi, Mrs. Davis. What kind of work do you do? I was just curious. Most of the time, everyone said they owned a business. They never told me what type of business, but all I knew is to live in a house, you had to own your own business. So that was my start of wanting to own my own business. During my high school years, what I would do, I always cut pictures out of magazines and like business owners, houses, of course, cars, clothes, just all the things that I wanted. And I would glue everything to my collage. Now let me back up. I said collage. Today it's called a vision board. I was just always a dreamer. So I had my collages every day before I went to school. I looked at my pictures. I saw my big brick house. I saw my nice clothes. I saw my cars. I just went to school, and the vision of owning a business just stayed in my head. So now my next stop, I went to college. I went to a business school because I had to learn as much about owning a business as I possibly could. So while I was in college, young men used to walk around and pass out Bibles. So, of course, I read the Bible. But during the time that I read the Bible, I didn't understand the Bible. I didn't quite understand everything that I was reading. But one day, when I turned 25, I opened that Bible and I started reading it. And in that Bible, what I read, I turned to this verse and it said, "Trust in the Lord with all thine heart, and lean not into thy own understanding. In all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy paths." And for the first time, I understood what it meant. So I wrote down a list of 10 things that I wanted. And of course, I put it in my Bible. I had $50 in my pocket, and I drove to Atlanta. Because I always thought Atlanta was the place for me to own my own business. Because in all the magazines, most of the people were from Atlanta. They had their own businesses, and I said, I want to meet them, and I want to be one of them. On my way to Atlanta, of course I had odd jobs. I worked different places, but in my head, I still wanted my house. I still wanted to own my business. And I say to you today, I've been in business for 10 years, like I said. I'm a franchisee. The name of my business is called PG First Incorporated. PG First Incorporated means put God first. I name my business that because in everything I do, I put God first. And people always ask you, how'd you get a Subway? Did you get a grant? What did you do? I said, it was all God. They look at me strange because they don't believe me. But I tell you, I've always been a praying girl. And that's what I've always done. And I stand here before you to say, I have everything on that list that I asked for. And it took me years to accomplish that. But one day I just found that list. I have my husband, a man from the South, something I always wanted to marry a man from the South. Because to me, they were more family oriented. I have him. I have a great mother-in-law. I have my home. And at the end of this speech, I would like to say, who out here has a dream? By show of hands. There's a young lady in a pink shirt. Could you come up here for 1 second? What's your name, miss?
I'm
Tricia. Tricia, nice to meet you. I like to say to you, as I was taught, when you make it, you give back. So what I want to do for you, I want to give you $50, and I want you to go out there and start your dream.